The Zorathian star empire stretched across half of the known galaxy. For thousands of years, its banners had flown over 1,000 worlds. Whole species had bowed before its fleets. No rival dared to challenge its power. From the shining crystal towers of the capital to the frozen mines of the outer rim, the empire's law ruled like the pull of a mighty sun. In the Grand Council chambers of DEATHWORLD, the High Council gathered. The hall was a vast circle of black marble and glowing blue symbols, a place built to remind every visitor of the empire's long reach. Today the councilors were restless. Reports from the frontier had brought an unusual topic: a new species calling themselves humans. The first reports were small and scattered. A patrol ship near the neutral zone had picked up a strange signal. A week later, an automated mining station sent a message about a small biped that rescued a damaged freighter from pirates. At first, the council ignored these whispers. Many young species wandered the stars, and most were harmless. But the next report changed the tone of every meeting. An entire pirate fleet, 12 warships, had been destroyed in the empty stretch of space near the Karthus belt. Wreckage floated for thousands of kilometers. The pirates were experienced raiders who had escaped Imperial patrols for years. Yet the sensors showed that a single ship had caused their destruction, and the markings on the debris did not match any known fleet. They carried a strange emblem, a blue sphere with white streaks of light. Underneath were 3 simple letters. UNE Counselor Trevcor, a tall silver-skinned elder, read the report aloud. Unknown species. Unknown technology. Single ship. Entire fleet destroyed in under 1 hour. His voice echoed through the chamber. If this is accurate, we may face a new enemy. Most of the council laughed. 1 ship? Impossible, said Lord Admiral Korath, commander of the Imperial Navy. His golden armor shone under the lights as he stood. Pirates are cowards. Perhaps they destroyed themselves. Or perhaps this human ship used tricks of stealth. No single vessel can defeat 12 Imperial-grade warships. Yet a thin thread of worry wound through the room. The Empire was vast, but it had grown used to easy victories. If an unknown species had new weapons, even a small threat could grow dangerous. High Chancellor Virel, whose voice carried more weight than any general, raised a hand for silence. Whether or not these reports are exaggerated, we cannot ignore them. We will observe these humans. If they are weak, we will add their worlds to the Empire. If they are strong, we will prepare for war. Either way, the Empire must remain supreme. Far from the glittering council chamber, a single ship drifted at the edge of Zorathian space. It was small compared to the massive Imperial dreadnoughts, but it moved with quiet purpose. Its hull was dark gray with streaks of blue light running along the sides. On its bow was the same blue sphere emblem that the council now debated. The ship was called the HSS Resolute, and it carried a crew of only 50 humans. Inside the command deck, Captain Elena Voss watched the endless stars from her chair. Her brown hair was tied back, and her dark eyes reflected the soft glow of the displays. Beside her stood First Officer Malik Chen, who studied the sensor screen with calm focus. Imperial patrols are increasing, Chen said. 3 destroyers passed within half a light year. They have not detected us. They will, Voss replied softly. They believe we travel in fleets. They will look for an army. Her crew exchanged quiet smiles. Humanity had grown fast since discovering faster-than-light travel. Many alien powers believed Earth must rely on numbers to survive. But humans had learned another way: adaptation. They built small ships with powerful minds, and they turned every weakness into a weapon of thought. Voss rose and walked to the main display. A holographic map of Zorathian space flickered before her.
The Empire believes strength is in size, she said.
They expect millions of ships if we resist. Let them believe. Our task is not to fight battles. Our task is to make sure they never wish to fight at all. Back on DEATHWORLD, the Council continued their debate. New intelligence reports arrived every day. A second encounter near the border had revealed more details. The human ship carried energy shields stronger than any Imperial model. Its engines allowed sudden jumps that defied normal physics. Even more alarming, their communications could not be intercepted. Some analysts began to whisper that the humans might be using quantum fields unknown to the Empire. Admiral Korath remained confident. If they have 1 ship, we will send 1,000. Numbers will crush their clever tricks. Prepare the frontier fleet. If these humans cross our border, we will capture them. We will study their technology and add it to our own. The council voted in favor of a show of strength. A fleet of 2,000 warships was ordered to the frontier, supported by planetary defense platforms and long-range missile stations. To the Zorathians, it was a simple calculation. For every enemy, the Empire always had more ships, more soldiers, more firepower. No species had ever stood against such force. But far beyond the capital, in the quiet dark of space, Captain Voss listened to the signals of this mighty mobilization. The resolute sensors picked up the movement of fleets, the chatter of admirals, the hum of engines ready for war. Instead of fear, she felt a cold clarity. They are gathering everything they have, Chen said. They think we are only a scout for a larger invasion. Good, Voss replied. If they expect millions, they will prepare for millions. That will make them blind to one. She turned to the crew. Remember our mission. We are not here to start a war. We are here to make sure the Empire never dares to start one. Every move we make must show that their numbers mean nothing. Every step must remind them that a single human ship can change the balance of the galaxy. The crew nodded. Each officer understood the stakes. Humanity's colonies were still young and scattered. A single Imperial fleet could burn them in days. The only way to protect them was to teach the Empire a lesson it would never forget. As the Resolute glided through the black void, its engines hummed with silent power. Invisible to Imperial sensors, it carried technology the Zorathians could not yet imagine. A shimmering quantum displacement field wrapped the hull, bending signals and distorting space. To the Empire's radar, the human ship was a faint star, no different from the countless lights in the galaxy. In the council chamber, Admiral Korath received the latest scout report. His eyes narrowed as he read the data. The human ship has crossed the border, he announced. They travel openly, as if daring us to attack. They broadcast signals of peace and friendship. It is a trick, the council agreed. To them, a single ship flying alone into Imperial territory could only be an insult, a challenge to their pride. They believed the humans sought to test their strength before the arrival of a vast fleet. They could not imagine that the lone ship was the entire force. High Chancellor Virel stood. Admiral Korath, you will intercept this vessel. Show these humans the might of the Zorathian Empire. Capture their captain. Bring their technology to our scientists. Let all species know that the Empire does not fear newcomers. Korath bowed with a smile. It will be done. As the council session ended and the admirals prepared their fleets, the stars outside continued to burn silently. Somewhere beyond those stars, the HSS Resolute adjusted its course. Its captain looked ahead at the endless black and whispered to herself, "They think we are many. They will learn the power of one." The frontier of Zorathian space glittered with cold stars and silent nebulae. Dozens of Imperial patrol ships moved through the darkness like hunting animals. Their mission was simple: find the human ship, surround it, and capture it. Every officer believed the operation would be easy. After all, what could a single vessel do against the endless fleets of the Empire? Admiral Korath stood on the command bridge of the flagship Obsidian Crown. The ship's windows stretched like black crystal across the forward deck, showing a storm of distant suns. Around the flagship, hundreds of destroyers and cruisers waited for his order. Korath's golden armor gleamed under the soft lights. His red eyes burned with cold pride as he watched the stars. "Report," he demanded. A young sensor officer stepped forward, her voice steady but tense. "Admiral, the human ship continues its course deeper into Imperial space. Speed remains steady. They are broadcasting an open signal, unarmed and requesting peaceful contact." Korath's lips curled. "Peaceful contact," he repeated with a sharp laugh. "A trap. They wish to delay us while their hidden fleet approaches. Very well. We will humor them until we have them in our grasp." The Admiral turned to his staff. "Prepare the fleet for encirclement. No fire until my command. I want their ship captured intact. Our scientists will pull every secret from their engines." Across the dark void, the HSS Resolute drifted with quiet grace. Its hull reflected faint starlight like polished stone. Inside, Captain Elena Voss studied the incoming Imperial signals. A faint smile touched her face as she listened to the enemy chatter. "They think we are waiting for reinforcements," she said. "They cannot imagine we came alone." First Officer Malik Chen checked the energy readouts. "Their fleet is spreading wide. They want to surround us without firing first. They hope to take the ship whole." Voss nodded. "Good. The wider they spread, the weaker their coordination. Maintain course. Activate the quantum displacement field at 70%. Let them think our engines are ordinary. The crew moved with calm precision. No one raised their voice. No one trembled. Every officer knew the plan. Remain patient. Allow the Empire to commit all of its ships, and reveal humanity's strength only when the trap was complete. Far away on Zorath Prime, the High Council watched live feeds from the frontier. Holographic projections floated over the chamber's marble floor, showing the small gray human ship and the immense Imperial armada closing in. Councillor Trevicor folded his silver hands. "They do not run," he said quietly. "No young species behaves this way." High Chancellor Varel leaned forward, her crystal crown catching the light. "Perhaps they are more foolish than we believed. Or perhaps—" She did not finish the thought. Even she felt a faint unease at the sight of a lone ship gliding calmly toward certain capture. The Imperial fleet advanced in silent formation. Thousands of engines glowed like blue suns. On the flagship, Admiral Korath raised his hand. "Open a channel to the human vessel," he ordered. A deep voice filled the Resolute's bridge, translated by automatic systems. "Unknown vessel of Earth, you are entering restricted Imperial space. You will surrender immediately. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Failure to comply will result in your destruction." Captain Voss listened without expression. When the voice ended, she tapped the comm control. Her own calm words traveled back across the stars. "This is Captain Elena Voss of the human starship Resolute. We come in peace. We request dialogue with the High Council. We will not surrender. We will not retreat. We mean no harm, but we will defend ourselves if attacked." The message was short and polite, but every Zorathian officer heard the quiet steel inside it. On the obsidian crown, Admiral Korath narrowed his eyes. "They dare to refuse," he said. "They believe their hidden fleet will save them. Very well. We will tighten the net." Minutes stretched into silent hours. Imperial ships glided into position. Invisible targeting systems locked onto the Resolute. Inside the human vessel, the crew sat at their stations with steady hearts. "Displacement field holding," Malik Chen reported. "Imperial sensors remain confused. They cannot track our exact location." Voss studied the glowing map. "Good, keep the field stable but not perfect. Let them think their sensors are only slightly jammed. They must believe they still have control." Chief Engineer Mara Singh checked her console. "If they fire a full volley, even with the field, our shields will be tested." "They will not fire yet," Voss replied. "They want us alive." As the trap closed, strange disturbances began to ripple through the Imperial fleet. One by one, small glitches appeared on their ships. Communications flickered. Targeting systems drifted a few degrees off course. Engines hummed with odd vibrations. Officers worked frantically to correct the errors, believing them to be random malfunctions. Admiral Korath's face hardened as new reports arrived. "What is happening to our systems?" he demanded. "Unknown interference," a technician answered. "Sensors show no attack. It is as if the fabric of space around us is bending." Korath slammed his fist against the console. "Do not speak nonsense. Find the source." But there was no simple source. The Resolute's quantum displacement field was rewriting the very physics around the Imperial fleet. Space bent in subtle ways, scattering signals and twisting energy patterns. The human ship did not need to fire a single weapon. Its presence alone was turning the Empire's proud armada into a confused swarm. Inside the Resolute, Voss gave her next command. "Increase field strength to 80%. Target their communication lattice. I want every fleet channel filled with static within 5 minutes." Her crew obeyed without hesitation. Invisible waves spread across the void. Imperial ships lost contact with one another. Captains shouted into dead microphones. Admirals barked orders that no one heard. The once perfect formation began to break apart as ships drifted slightly off course. Malik Chen watched the chaos unfold on the screen. "They still believe this is a technical fault," he said. Voss allowed herself a small smile. "Let them believe. Fear grows stronger when the enemy does not understand." On the obsidian crown, Admiral Korath's patience finally cracked. "Enough," he roared. "They mock us with illusions. All ships prepare weapons. On my mark, we will fire a disabling volley. I want that ship crippled, not destroyed." His officers obeyed, though many felt a chill in their hearts. Across the fleet, thousands of cannons charged with blue light. The dark void began to glow like a rising sun. The Resolute's sensors detected the power surge instantly. Malik Chen looked to his captain. They are ready to fire. Voss stood, her face calm but her eyes bright with hidden fire. Then we are ready to show them what one human ship can do. Yet she did not order an attack. Instead, she activated a second system hidden deep within the ship's core. A soft vibration passed through the hull as the mirror field came online. To outside eyes, the Resolute suddenly appeared to split into 3 identical ships, each moving in a different direction. Sensors showed conflicting positions, speeds, and energy signatures. Imperial gunners hesitated. Their targets multiplied and shifted faster than their computers could track. Some captains fired prematurely, their shots streaking harmlessly into empty space. Admiral Korath barked new commands. Lock all weapons. Fire on every target. Overwhelm their trick. But even as he shouted, new anomalies appeared. The 3 images became 6, then 12. Each false ship mirrored the others perfectly, dancing through the fleet like ghosts. In the council chamber on Zorath Prime, the High Council watched in stunned silence. The holographic projection of the battle shifted and flickered. Unable to decide which image was real, Counselor Trevicor whispered, "One ship cannot do this." High Chancellor Virel felt a cold weight in her chest. "And yet," she said softly, "one ship is doing it." On the Resolute's bridge, Captain Voss gave a final quiet order. "Hold formation. Do not fire. Let them taste their own fear. Let them wonder how many of us exist." Her crew obeyed. They understood the strategy. Humanity did not need to destroy the Imperial fleet to win. They only needed to break the Empire's confidence. Numbers meant nothing if the enemy doubted reality itself. Through the vast darkness, the small human ship drifted like a phantom, splitting, vanishing, and reappearing. Imperial admirals watched their perfect plan crumble into confusion. And somewhere deep in his heart, Admiral Korath began to feel something he had not known in decades. Fear. The lone ship had not fired a single shot. Yet the Empire was already losing. The frontier of Zorathian space had never been so quiet. Thousands of Imperial warships hung in the darkness, their engines glowing faintly like scattered blue stars. The mighty fleet had been prepared for a quick capture, but now it floated in restless confusion. Every sensor reading contradicted the next. The lone human ship, the HSS Resolute, seemed to be everywhere and nowhere at once. Admiral Korath paced the command bridge of the flagship Obsidian Crown. His armor, once a proud symbol of control, now felt like a heavy cage around his shoulders. Reports streamed in from every direction, each one worse than the last. Targeting systems failed to lock. Energy fields twisted without cause. Communications flickered like dying sparks. "This is impossible," Korath muttered, his red eyes narrowing. "No single vessel can disrupt an entire fleet." A nervous officer approached with a new report. "Admiral, multiple ships have lost propulsion for brief intervals. It is as if space itself is moving around them." Korath slammed a clawed hand against the console. "Space does not move. Find the source or you will answer for failure." But even as he shouted, the holographic map of the battle zone flickered again. The single gray outline of the human ship split into 12 images, each glowing with different energy patterns. Some appeared close enough to touch, others far beyond the fleet. The officers stared at the impossible display, their minds struggling to accept what their eyes reported. Inside the Resolute, the mood was calm and steady. Captain Elena Voss stood at the center of the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the tactical screen. Around her, the crew worked with quiet confidence. No one raised a voice. No one wasted a movement. "Displacement field is stable," First Officer Malik Chen reported. "Imperial fleet is losing formation. Many ships are firing at phantoms." "Good," Voss replied. "Maintain the illusions. The longer they fight shadows, the weaker their coordination becomes." Chief Engineer Mara Singh glanced up from her console. "Captain, their flagship is holding steady. If we want to end this quickly, we must strike soon." Voss considered the map in silence. The Obsidian Crown stood at the heart of the Imperial formation like a black sun, its powerful shields flaring in faint silver light. She knew that ship carried the fleet's primary command center. Disable it and the entire armada would collapse. "Prepare the kinetic lance," Voss ordered at last. "One shot only. Target their command core. Minimum yield, no casualties if possible." Malik Chen's eyebrows rose slightly. "A single round against a flagship shield?" "Precision, not force," Voss said. We are not here to destroy lives. We are here to end the fight. Far across the void, Admiral Korath tried to re-establish order. All ships tighten formation, he barked. Focus fire on the nearest target. Overwhelm it before it splits again. But the Imperial fleet could not tighten its ranks. Their own systems betrayed them. Engines refused to synchronize. Gravity drives drifted unpredictably. Ships that tried to move closer found themselves sliding apart as if an invisible tide pushed them away. Korath turned to his weapons officer. Bring the flagship cannons online. If the smaller ships fail, we will fire ourselves. The officer hesitated. Admiral, our targeting sensors are unstable. We cannot guarantee— Fire! Korath roared. Now! The Obsidian Crown's main batteries lit the darkness with a storm of blue plasma. Brilliant beams tore across space toward one of the Phantom Resolutes. But as the weapon struck, the target dissolved into nothing. The cannons cut only empty vacuum. A low murmur spread across the bridge. For the first time in his long career, Admiral Korath felt the cold touch of uncertainty. He had commanded fleets that crushed rebellions and conquered planets. Yet here he stood, facing a single ship that refused to be real. The Resolute slipped like a shadow between Imperial cruisers, hidden by the bending field of quantum distortion. From the outside, it looked as though the ship flickered in and out of existence. From within, the crew saw the Imperial fleet as distant, harmless lights. Target locked, Malik Chen announced. His voice was calm but tight with focus. Kinetic lance charged to 20%. We can disable their command core without breaching the hull. Captain Voss stepped closer to the main console. Her hand rested lightly on the fire control. She took a slow breath and gave the order. Fire. A single beam of invisible energy shot across the void. No flash, no explosion, only a silent ripple in the darkness. It struck the Obsidian Crown with surgical precision, slicing through shields like soft mist. The round hit the exact point of the flagship's command core and discharged a focused pulse. Lights across the massive ship dimmed to black. Power conduits overloaded. Control systems froze. On the Imperial flagship, alarms screamed. Consoles went dark. The proud heart of the fleet shuddered like a wounded beast. Emergency power, officers shouted. Shields collapsing. Engines offline. Admiral Korath gripped the rail, his jaw tightening. What was that? No one answered. The sensors showed no weapon signature, no missile, no beam of light. Yet their shields were gone and their engines dead. The disabling of the flagship spread panic across the entire Imperial fleet. Without central coordination, ships drifted into dangerous proximity. Some collided with minor impacts. Others turned in random directions, their captains shouting into broken channels. The great armada that once represented the Empire's unmatched strength now looked like a scattered cloud of lost stars. On Zorath Prime, the High Council watched the live feed in stunned silence. The holographic projection showed the Obsidian Crown spinning slowly, powerless. While the human ship glided untouched among the confused fleet, Counselor Trevicor whispered the thought none dared speak aloud. One ship has defeated 2,000. High Chancellor Virel clenched her silver hands. Not defeated, she said softly, but taught us fear. Inside the Resolute, the crew remained focused. Malik Chen read the energy readings carefully. Their flagship is disabled. Secondary command ships are in chaos. Should we continue the assault? Captain Voss shook her head. No, we have made our point. Prepare broad communication. It is time for words. She pressed the comm switch and sent her message to every Imperial frequency. Attention, Zorathian fleet. This is Captain Elena Voss of the human starship Resolute. Your flagship is disabled. Your weapons are locked. No lives have been lost. Humanity does not seek war. But if you continue aggression, we will defend our people. Withdraw and no further harm will come. Her voice traveled across the scattered fleet like a steady tide. Even with scrambled channels, the message reached every captain. They heard not the shout of a conqueror, but the calm warning of someone in complete control. On the Obsidian Crown, Admiral Korath listened with clenched fists. His pride screamed for resistance, but the reality before his eyes could not be denied. Their most advanced weapons had failed. Their strongest shields had fallen, and the enemy had shown mercy. He turned to his officers, their faces pale under the emergency lights. We will hold position, he said at last. The words tasted bitter. Send no further fire. Around the fleet, Zorathian captains slowly lowered their weapons. Engines powered down. The great armada fell into a silent pause, like a vast creature stunned by a single strike. Back on Zorath Prime, the High Council argued in hushed voices. Some demanded immediate surrender. Others wanted to send more fleets. But even the most aggressive counselors felt the weight of the truth. Numbers meant nothing if each fleet could be disabled without a single casualty. High Chancellor Varel closed her eyes and spoke with quiet finality. We have underestimated humanity. They came not with millions, but with understanding. If one ship holds such power, how many more might they possess? We must reconsider every plan. As the Imperial fleet drifted in uneasy silence, the Resolute moved slowly through the darkness, its hull glowing faintly against the stars. Inside, the crew breathed a quiet sigh of relief. Chief Engineer Mara Singh allowed a small smile. "One shot," she said. "Just one." Captain Voss nodded. "Enough to show them that war will cost more than they can bear." She turned back to the stars, her gaze steady and calm. "They expected millions," she whispered. "They will learn that humanity needs only one." The human ship continued its silent glide, leaving behind a fleet that no longer believed in its own invincibility. In the endless night of space, the balance of power had shifted with a single perfect strike. The Zorathian fleet floated in silence. Engines hummed softly, weapons cooled, and alarms that had screamed moments ago were now nothing more than faint echoes. For the first time in centuries, fear had entered the hearts of Imperial captains. A single ship, one human vessel, had shattered their sense of control, disabled their flagship, and scattered their fleets without firing a single destructive salvo. The lessons were beginning. On the bridge of the HSS Resolute, Captain Elena Voss stood at the main console, surveying the scattered Imperial ships. Her dark eyes were calm, but a quiet determination burned behind them. This was not just a battle of technology. It was a battle of minds. She understood the value of showing restraint. Humanity did not need to destroy lives to make a point. The humans' purpose was clear: protect their colonies and demonstrate that intelligence and strategy could outweigh raw numbers. First Officer Malik Chen approached, his expression thoughtful. "Captain, some ships are attempting to regroup. They still do not fully understand what has happened. Should we continue our demonstration?" Voss shook her head slowly. "No, they've seen our capability. Now they need to see our will." She activated the ship's broad communication array. "Send a message to every ship and station within the fleet," she instructed. "Make sure every officer, every soldier knows the human stance." The message was calm, deliberate, and broadcast on every frequency. "Attention, Zorathian fleet. Humanity does not seek war. We value life and seek peaceful coexistence. Your fleets have seen our capabilities. Consider this your chance to withdraw. Do not test humanity further, or you will learn that we will defend our people." Captain Elena Voss, HSS Resolute. Across the void, the message was received. Officers stared at their screens, many speechless. The very tone of the message, the calm, unwavering voice, implied power that no fleet could match. It was a paradox. A warning that carried no threat of destruction, yet every officer sensed the danger. Humanity did not need to attack. Humanity simply needed to exist to command respect. Back on the Obsidian Crown, Admiral Korath listened to the broadcast. He gritted his teeth, feeling both frustration and awe. The ship had not fired again, yet the Empire's greatest flagship lay disabled. His pride had been wounded, but something deeper gnawed at him. The humans had a strength he could not measure, an intelligence and cunning that no training or armada could overcome. He clenched his fists and spoke in a low, tense voice. "Return to standard formation. Do not engage. We will withdraw and regroup. And mark this day. Remember that even a single human ship carries power beyond comprehension." His officers looked at him in surprise. Korath had never spoken of fear before. Yet now it was clear. The Empire had met a species that could not be crushed by numbers or force alone. On Zorath Prime, the High Council convened urgently. Holographic projections of the frontier filled the chamber, showing the scattered fleet, the disabled flagship, and the human vessel slowly moving among them like a shadow. Counselor Trevkor's silver hands were clenched in tension. "High Chancellor," he began, "this is unlike anything we have encountered. One single ship has demonstrated control over our fleet, our weapons, and our navigation. We cannot ignore this." High Chancellor Varel nodded gravely. It is clear that we underestimated humanity. Their technology is advanced, but it is not just technology. It is strategy, precision, and understanding. They think differently. They act differently. If we continue hostilities, the cost will be unimaginable. Other council members murmured agreement, and the weight of reality settled heavily on the chamber. For centuries, the Empire had measured strength in numbers, in fleets, and in sheer firepower. Now they faced a species that had proven that one individual or one ship could defeat thousands. A new respect, tinged with fear, had entered their calculations. Meanwhile, the HSS Resolute glided silently between the scattered Zorathian ships. Captain Voss observed their movements carefully. She had not intended to destroy any Imperial lives, yet she needed to leave a lasting impression. Humanity's goal was not to conquer, but to protect. They had defended themselves in a way that was clear, precise, and unforgettable. Malik Chen looked at the captain. "Do we have a path back to our territory?" he asked. "The fleet will not pursue if we maintain distance?" Voss studied the star charts projected before her. "Yes," she replied. "They will remember today for a long time, but fear will not last forever if they are not guided. We must show strength, then leave." Mara Singh, the chief engineer, checked the ship's energy readings. "Quantum field is stable. Displacement and mirror systems fully operational. We can leave without detection if necessary." Voss nodded. "Prepare the ship for departure, but keep communications open. They need to understand the lesson, not just remember it as a story." The Zorathian fleet, now scattered and confused, struggled to regain order. Some captains tried to repair damaged engines and shields. Others attempted to contact the flagship, only to find it silent and powerless. Everywhere whispers ran through the crews. "The humans are not what we expected. One ship, one human ship, controlled us all." On the Obsidian Crown, Admiral Korath ordered his lieutenants to hold position. He felt the weight of responsibility. Hundreds of ships and millions of soldiers were at his command, yet he could not undo the lesson that had been taught. The humans had shown the power of intelligence, strategy, and the unpredictable nature of a determined opponent. He looked at his officers, his voice low and steady. "We have faced the impossible today. Remember it, learn it. Humanity is not an enemy of size. It is an enemy of ingenuity, and ingenuity does not sleep." On the Resolute, Captain Voss opened a secondary channel, transmitting directly to key Imperial leaders. Her words were firm but respectful. "Admirals, captains, officers of the Zorathian Empire, you have seen our capabilities. Humanity does not wish to destroy, only to defend. Return to your worlds. Do not challenge Earth or her colonies. Do not send another fleet against us. We will honor peace if you honor it." Captain Elena Voss. The silence that followed was profound. Across the fleet, officers considered the message carefully. None spoke out of fear or pride. All understood its meaning. One ship, operated by a species barely known, had changed the calculations of an entire empire. This was no trick, no accident. It was a deliberate demonstration of power and restraint. Councillor Trevcore turned to the High Chancellor. "High Chancellor, the lesson is clear. We cannot wage war against humanity with conventional fleets. One ship, one species has demonstrated abilities that we cannot counter without unacceptable risk." Virel nodded. "Agreed, and this is not only about technology. This species thinks differently. They value precision, patience, and strategy. They teach us a lesson we cannot ignore. The Empire is not invincible. One species, one ship, can shatter the illusion of our omnipotence." The council debated for hours, considering options that had never been imagined. Some suggested building even larger fleets. Others argued for diplomacy. But every voice returned to the same conclusion. Humanity must be respected, for its strength was measured in more than weapons or numbers. On the HSS Resolute, Captain Voss allowed herself a small moment of relief. Her crew had executed the plan perfectly. No lives had been lost. The Empire had been taught the price of underestimating humanity. Malik Chen spoke quietly. "They will remember this day. Even if they forget the details, they will not forget the feeling. Fear, uncertainty, and respect all at once." Voss nodded. "And that is enough. Fear is a tool, but understanding is stronger. Humanity has shown what we are capable of. Now we leave them with a choice, peace or disaster." She activated the jump drive. A soft hum filled the hull as the ship prepared to slip into faster-than-light travel. The stars ahead blurred. and the small human vessel vanished like a shadow moving between suns. Across the Empire, the effects of the demonstration rippled through military and civilian life. Scholars debated what they had witnessed. Soldiers shared tales of the ghostly human ship. Citizens whispered stories of a species capable of defeating thousands with a single vessel. Fear was not just in the minds of leaders. It had entered the collective memory of an entire civilization. High Chancellor Virel sat alone in her chamber, staring at the empty star map of the frontier. "One ship," she murmured. "They expected millions, yet one was enough. Humanity is unlike anything we have faced, and now we must choose carefully." The HSS Resolute moved swiftly through the void, leaving behind a fleet that was broken not by weapons, but by intelligence, courage, and a quiet display of overwhelming capability. Humanity had not fired indiscriminate volleys. They had not sought to conquer. They had taught a lesson in the only way that mattered, by showing that even a single ship could change the balance of power in a galaxy. Captain Voss watched the stars, her calm presence reflecting the pride and confidence of her crew. "They will not forget this," she said softly, "and they will not forget humanity." For the first time, the galaxy understood that numbers did not define strength. Courage, ingenuity, and precise action could shatter even the greatest empire, and as the Resolute disappeared into the black, the Empire had no choice but to remember the lesson, etched forever into the hearts of its people. The Zorathian Star Empire was not used to defeat. For thousands of years, it had expanded its borders, crushed rebellions, and dominated weaker species. Its fleets had been feared across the galaxy. Its generals had commanded billions of soldiers. Its name alone could turn worlds to submission. Yet now, in the quiet of the frontier, the Empire faced an unprecedented reality. A single human ship had shown them that their power was not absolute. On Zorath Prime, the High Council convened an emergency. Holographic projections displayed the state of the frontier fleets. The Obsidian Crown remained disabled, engines offline, systems failing. Secondary and tertiary ships attempted to regroup, but confusion still lingered. The human vessel, the HSS Resolute, was nowhere to be found, yet its presence was felt everywhere. Its message of peace and warning had reached all captains and officers. Counselor Trevkor's silver hands were clenched as he spoke. "High Chancellor, we cannot risk sending more fleets. Humanity is not like any species we have faced. One ship, one captain has dismantled our most powerful forces without a single casualty. To continue aggression would be suicide." High Chancellor Virel stood, her crystal crown catching the light of the chamber. Her voice was steady, but it carried a weight that commanded attention. "The humans have taught us a lesson in restraint, intelligence, and power. They do not seek conquest, but they will defend themselves. Any attack now will be met with calculated force far beyond our understanding. I propose we negotiate immediately. Humanity has proven they deserve our respect." The council murmured agreement, though some younger members whispered doubts. They had grown up believing the Empire's fleets were unstoppable. Now they faced a species that did not rely on numbers, yet had proven they could overcome billions with strategy, precision, and courage. In the dark expanse of space, the HSS Resolute glided smoothly. Captain Elena Voss watched the stars, her mind focused on the mission's final phase. The humans' job was not simply to survive. It was to ensure that the Empire would understand the consequences of underestimating them. First Officer Malik Chen approached. "Captain, our sensors show no pursuit. The Empire has paused its movements and seems to be reconsidering their strategy." Voss nodded. "They have learned. Now we leave them with the choice: peace or the full extent of our power." Chief Engineer Mara Singh checked the ship's systems. Quantum displacement, mirror fields, and communications are fully operational. "We could strike again if necessary." Voss smiled faintly. "We do not strike unnecessarily. Humanity's strength is not in destroying but in teaching. Our demonstration was enough." The crew worked quietly, maintaining the ship's course toward a safe jump point back to human space. Every officer understood the gravity of what had happened. They had faced an empire that thought itself invincible, and had emerged not only unscathed, but victorious in influence. Back on the Obsidian Crown, Admiral Korath struggled to reconcile pride with reality. His flagship, the pride of the Imperial fleet, lay powerless. The secondary fleets were disorganized. His officers no longer followed orders with the same confidence, and in every message, the calm voice of Captain Elena Voss reminded him of the humans' precision and intelligence. Korath's normally rigid face softened with reluctant respect. "Prepare a full report for the High Council," he ordered. "We must explain the situation honestly. Humanity is different from anything we have faced. They deserve our consideration, and we must ensure they are never provoked again." The officers obeyed, though many whispered among themselves. They had witnessed an entire fleet's morale shattered by a single ship. The humans had not fired indiscriminate weapons, yet they had controlled the battle completely. The lesson was clear. Strength was no longer measured in numbers alone. High Chancellor Virel sent a delegation to the frontier, armed with a message of peace and surrender. Imperial diplomats prepared holographic messages and encrypted channels to communicate directly with humanity. The goal was simple: ensure that the Zorathians would respect Earth and her colonies and guarantee that no further fleets would be sent. On the HSS Resolute, Captain Voss received the transmission. She gathered her crew in the main chamber and activated the channel. The holographic image of the Imperial diplomats appeared, their expressions a mix of fear, respect, and uncertainty. Captain Voss's voice was calm, unwavering. "We will not destroy your fleets. We will not harm your people. But understand this: humanity does not seek war, and we will defend our colonies with all that we possess. If you value life, you will honor this agreement. If you do not, you will find that one ship can change the balance of a galaxy." The diplomats absorbed her words. One of them, a middle-aged Zorathian with pale blue skin, bowed slightly. "We understand," he said. "You have shown us what one ship and one species can accomplish. The Empire will respect your message. We will return to our worlds and ensure that no fleet threatens Earth or her colonies." Voss nodded. "Then peace is possible. Leave now and we will not pursue. You will remember this day as a lesson in humility, intelligence, and restraint." As the Imperial delegation returned to Zorath Prime, the High Council received their report. The chamber was silent, every member contemplating the implications. A species that had once seemed insignificant now commanded the Empire's respect. One ship had shifted the balance of power in a way that no fleet or weapon could achieve. Councillor Trevkor spoke first. "High Chancellor, humanity has proven that strength is not measured by numbers alone. Their strategy, patience, and precision have forced us to reconsider every plan. They are not a threat in the traditional sense. They are a species to be respected." Virel nodded. "This is the beginning of a new chapter for the Empire. We must ensure that no one forgets the lesson taught by one human ship. We must treat them not as enemies, but as equals who possess power we cannot easily counter." In the depths of space, the HSS Resolute prepared for its jump to human space. Captain Voss stood on the bridge, watching the stars blur as the engines built up energy. She allowed herself a rare smile. Humanity had faced an empire of millions and shown that courage, intelligence, and precision mattered more than numbers. Malik Chen approached. "Captain, the frontier is clear. No fleet pursues us. The Empire will not return for the time being." Voss's dark eyes reflected the stars. "Good, humanity has done its job. One ship has ensured the safety of billions. Now we return home, not as conquerors but as protectors." As the jump drive engaged, the Resolute disappeared into faster-than-light travel, leaving behind a fleet that would forever remember the lesson. The Empire had seen the power of humanity, and that memory would shape its policies, its fleets, and its councils for generations. On Earth, the crew of the Resolute received news from command centers. All colonies remained safe. Humanity had defended itself without unnecessary bloodshed. Captain Voss transmitted her final report. "No casualties. Mission accomplished. The Empire has learned the cost of underestimating humanity." Across the galaxy, stories began to circulate among traders, soldiers, and scholars. The tale of the one human ship spread quickly. It was said that one ship had defeated an empire not with destruction, but with precision, intelligence, and courage. Ships of other species whispered the name HSS Resolute in awe. Speaking of the humans who could challenge even the mightiest fleets, even Admiral Korath, once arrogant and proud, reflected on the battle from his flagship. He stared at the stars, a deep respect in his eyes. "One ship," he murmured. "And yet it has shown what we could not foresee, humanity. has changed everything. Back on the Resolute, Captain Voss and her crew celebrated quietly. There was no cheering, no grand speeches. They had completed their mission with discipline, focus, and precision. Humanity had proven that even a single ship could shape the fate of a galaxy. Voss looked at her crew, her calm presence giving them reassurance and pride. "We have done what we set out to do," she said softly. "We have protected our colonies. We have shown the galaxy that humanity cannot be underestimated. And most importantly, we have done it without unnecessary violence. That is the true strength of our people." The crew nodded. Each member understood the significance of what had been accomplished. They had faced an empire of millions and left it humbled, cautious, and respectful. Humanity had not only survived, they had thrived. The galaxy itself seemed to pause in recognition. Across countless star systems, from the nearest colonies to distant outposts, the story of the HSS Resolute spread. It was a story of courage, intelligence, and the power of one. The Empire had expected millions, but it had received only one human ship, and that one was enough to secure peace, respect, and lasting legend. Captain Voss watched the stars blur as faster-than-light travel carried them home. A quiet thought crossed her mind, reflective and firm. Humanity does not need numbers to defend itself. Humanity needs only will, courage, and intelligence. And with that, the HSS Resolute vanished into the stars, leaving behind an empire that would never forget the day one human ship changed the galaxy forever.